Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm finally getting back to my Marvel Rivals concept series. Last time, I talked about how the game was lacking a bit in the villains category, and I asked you to leave some bad guy suggestions in the comments. So today, we are continuing the villain theme, starting with SURTUR, requested by a fan of justice like a month ago. So let's see what I did with this design. So, SURTUR is a giant that rules over Muspelheim, one of the 9 realms. He's based on the giant with the same name from Norse mythology and is usually depicted as the enemy of Thor, Odin, and Asgard, or other related characters in the comics. To me, SURTUR in the comics doesn't necessarily have a very interesting design. He's basically naked most of the time and also on fire. He's a fire giant, that makes sense, okay. But I kinda didn't know where to start with this design. I think I ended up finding some concept art for Thor Ragnarok, which had this look of semi-molten rock that shifts and cracks, revealing bright hot lava underneath. Probably not my best or most original work, but I think it looks pretty cool by the end. Surtur's not really a character I expect to see as a playable hero in Rivals, given that his giant size would make it almost impossible to translate in a comic-accurate way, but it's possible he could be seen at some point if the developers ever take the story, or the lore, to Muspelheim. He could make an appearance in the background, like the dragon in the Krakoa map. I'm pretty sure you can already tell by my voice, but I am currently recovering from my annual summer cold right now. I just came back from a vacation to Mexico, and I literally started feeling under the weather a day after. My speculation is that it's probably an effect of the drastic change in temperature or humidity, or even the quality of air, since Toronto has been dealing with some poor air quality recently. I've been really going through it these past 2 weeks. I've also noticed a bit of a strange thing that happens with my sense of smell when I get sick. Ever since I got COVID once a couple years ago, when I lost my sense of smell for the first time, it wasn't that surprising, since it was one of the common symptoms that people talked about. But I've been losing my sense of smell again every time I get some kind of cold. I didn't even realize this was like a thing that could happen. I didn't realize this was a thing that would happen even for like a regular cold, but it's become pretty consistent since then. I've never had this problem before COVID. So I'm kind of wondering if anyone else has experienced something like this as well. It doesn't bother me enough to try to do anything about it, but if someone wants to tell me why this is happening, they can feel free to in the comments. And as I finish up this design for SURTUR, I add a ring of fire and extra bits of flame surrounding him to create a more powerful aura, I guess. I think this helps fill out the silhouette and design. And fire is actually not super easy to render, but luckily I can just use the already existing Human Torch and Jean Grey designs as a reference. I'll include the final render for this character with a Rivals background at the end. Now, before I move on to the next character for today, you may have noticed that this video is rather short, and that is because I forgot to record the time-lapse for this second character. Imagine my horror when I finished the drawing and went to export the video, only to see that the option was grayed out. It's like I went on vacation for a week and immediately forgot how to do my job. So I am incredibly sorry to Angry Sonic Donut 1653 who requested BLACKHEART that I am unable to produce a detailed speed paint video, but instead I will show you all my individual layers instead. It really is a shame because this was a character I wasn't really familiar with, but I really enjoyed learning about him while researching for this drawing. So BLACKHEART is a son of Mephisto, and essentially is the physical manifestation of evil of a town in New York known as Christ's Crown. I wanted my design to look humanoid, but also slightly more creaturey, so I played a little bit with the anatomy. It's a little harder to tell because the design has so many dark colors, but the shoulders are more sloped and the arms and legs are a bit longer than your average human. A lot of BLACKHEART's stories feature him trying to corrupt various heroes, and based on his comic design, I likened him to a pollutant, like an oil spill, so I try to add some subtle rainbow hues to emulate that effect. I also layered some swirling patterns over the design, though it's a little hard to see. So here are the final renders for these two villains. I've gotten quite a few more requests for this Marvel Rivals series, and it might take a while to get through them all, but you are welcome to leave more character ideas for me in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at KaylinVerse to see more of my work. Support me directly through Ko-fi with donations or by buying the downloadable phone and desktop wallpapers. I also have some sticker designs on Redbubble and high quality art prints on my in-print store. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.